fans, you're always going to see Tyler win in chat predictions and things like that, just because he's been the most popular League of Legends streamer for however many years now.
Yeah.
But here's my extended prediction, Raz.
Ooh.
So I predict that Team Tyler1 bounces back and takes the win here in this game. But if Tyler1 and his squad lose this one, they absolutely tilt into oblivion and lose the next one 25 minutes. Jesus.
This is definitely a very mental boomable. Not only the last one where you feel like you're going up against the weakest team in your bracket, but then of course this one where there's a lot of smack talk happening. Like, even in the chat, by the way, even in the chat while we were having our segment, Nasty saying this is going to be a support difference. Like, if you end up losing off this conversation, man, it definitely hurts. It cuts deep.
Support diff indeed. Let's see if it comes down to that. Also, to the people in chat asking what the songs are during the breaks, I'm sorry, guys, I have no idea.
We got none.
My job is to talk fast when the champions kill each other on the screen. I'm not really sure what the soundtrack for any of it is.
Yeah.
So,
reminds me back in the day in the LPL where I would be like, I would give them the names for the songs, but they're production music, and you're not going to be able to find them anyways. It's probably worse to give them the names of the songs than realize you can't even listen to it anyways. So, like, here we are.
All right. So I apologize for that, chat. Hopefully y'all will be able to solve them mysteries on your own because let's check in where the junglers are here in this game. We did see Tarzan start up at his own red. However, he did not decide to go for the full clear. Instead, heading down into his blue quadrant afterwards. Hyper started on the top side of the map as well at his own blue, but he full cleared everything in that part before heading down to the bottom half here with his red. Now, because there is a ward on that chicken camp, Tarzan is aware that Hyper is here. Tarzan's going to walk around behind just like this. He's going to wait for him at the red buff. And if Hyper doesn't check for this, and it looks like he might not. Hyper walks right into the brush here, tries to go for the spell shield, but wind becomes lightning. There's your audacious charge over the wall. Hyper wants to get away. Rel coming in with the exhaust plays down, but it's Bobchin with a rotation, and Tarzan with the first blood.
That's one thing you don't expect, and they're going to be able to get out of this one scot-free. Beautiful from Tarzan. 3 camp start into a straight invade. Great wards too. Let's take a look at that replay.
All right, bring it up, my friends. Let's see how it went down here. You've got to respect Xin Zhao. As a pick, Xin Zhao must be active early. And Tarzan is the type of jungler to make these sorts of plays. Hyper wasn't quite ready for it. He flashes over the wall. The extended range on Audacious Charge makes it so Tarzan can chase him over that wall so easily, flashing away to stay alive, and they're all able to walk it off after.
It's such a great pre-prepared play. They knew it was going to happen. Galio moved first, and even with your duo lane and i0ki and Jurassic being there first, doesn't matter. He flashed towards his Galio. The Galio ends up getting the kill. Beautiful play, and now they're denying him from the Raptors camp. It's going to be a tough one for Hyper.
Yeah, Hyper on this Nocturne, not one to have to deal with Tarzan Xin Zhao in a situation like this, man. This is a tough one. Remember, the meme about Xin Zhao is always that he's already getting outscaled by the time you're done with the loading screen. So you want to see him popping off early, right? You want to see this champion finding these early successes, going for that PvP type of combat. I don't want to see this dude might as well be playing World of Warcraft because all he's doing is farming wolves the entire game. No, I want to see Tarzan constantly forcing the issue, being the aggressor, being the one looking for the plays and the picks. And with him clearing out those Krugs here on the top side, you can see they have vision of him right now. They're pinging that location saying, hey, here's where he is. Please don't die top. And maybe he'll decide for a gank up here in that top lane. Does he actually want to go for it? Yeah, it looks like he's going to come around here and see if he can gank i0ki.
Yeah, if he has a wave going in, and it looks like that's the case, he's letting him push in, and good luck, i0ki.
Okay, i0ki dashing away, and then becomes lightning. There's your 3-hit with a knock-up, keeping him slowed down. Tyler stepping up for a little bit of bonus damage. No, they will not be able to actually kill the man or even force a summoner, but he's in real bad shape now. Almost no mana, under half health. He returns back to a forward position in the lane, and Tarzan goes back to shop. Serrated Dirk in the inventory. So this is not the Immortal Shield Bow, Essence Reaver, Zhonya's Hourglass build. Serrated Dirk, usually when you see that one on Xin Zhao, the mythic item of choice will be the Eclipse.
Yeah, it could very well easily be the pick. There's also, like, the idea that he can go for another gap closer on that one, too. So, like, that mythic is always a possibility.
Ah, the Prowler's Claw. Yeah.
Prowler's Claw is also an option. So, both of them, great. Ornn solo kills Tyler.
Tyler, what are you doing, buddy? Solo killed by the Ornn. We're going to have to see a replay of that one. Observers, as soon as we can get that replay, can we show that on the screen? I got to see what happened. Tyler looked like he was in a great spot. His jungler ganks for him. It's all looking good, but then no.
He didn't have mana. He was stuck in a stacked wave. Tarzan ganked that lane, and i0ki needed to TP back in if he wanted to get the wave fully in. But like, I thought he was just gonna be, sticking top lane in an island and just trying to wait, push the wave in. But somehow he gets a solo kill out of it.
This is not good news for T1 in the top lane. That'll tie up the kills here in the game. Team Tyler still has the gold lead overall. They are out farming down here in bottom. You can see Value's not afraid to step up, even with his support not right next to him just yet. Nasty might look for the chance to find something more here, but won't get it. And instead, they'll just back away.
All right, well, you see in Xin Zhao back up top side. He's going to get the Scuttle Crab over him. Overall, this is just a great pick. I think i0ki should feel concerned. You got too many people in this area.
Yeah, i0ki's calling up the horn, though. They're ready to go. Tarzan only level 5. Doesn't have the defensive tools. Shockwave comes in, but it's not going to find the right target just yet. Hyper's the first to die, and it's Tarzan right next to him. i0ki drops next, and Team T1 goes 2 for 1. Looking to make it 3, as there comes your Justice Punch. Drew Dozer is taunted. The winds of war are a-blowing. Team Tyler continues their chase now with Nasty bringing in the extra support. Blast going over the wall keeps Drew Dozer alive, and we'll see if he can get all the way away. The winds are not quite finding it. Nasty going deep underneath the turret. Big one last shot will take him down. We got ourselves a bloody game here. i0ki's trying to get away. He's running towards the wrong turrets. I don't think he's going nowhere. T1 picks it up.
It's a banger. And I loved, see, just to take a look at the aftermath from Tyler1's perspective. Calm. It's a calm demeanor.
Nocturne's hitting
I was in the zone, man.
Yeah.
Like I say, I expect this team, these players, when I look at a roster and see Tyler1 and Tarzan, losing gracefully does not come to mind.
Hell yeah.
Like, these are the types of guys that loss is going to get under their skin. I expect them to come back swinging here in this game and get back on the dub train. Remember that this is the last best of 2 these teams are playing for Group A. Tyler's team is the only team after 4 games to have 3 wins. So they are the only team that can take first guaranteed just based on their own outcomes. If Tyler can 2-0 i0ki here, he guarantees himself first place and a bye past the quarterfinals.
And it's looking good. Like, one small thing that I wanted to talk about was the fact that this composition is centered around Tarzan going in. In that fight, his charge on towards Hyper, just as Drew Dozer was using his ultimate, just to dodge the Orianna ult, was beautiful. I think that's the only reason why it came out as a huge win for Tyler1's team.
Okay, Tarzan invading here yet again, stealing away that red buff. It's Hyper. Every time Hyper tries to go for the red buff, Tarzan is there. He's ready. He's waiting. There, that's a perfect showcase. Thank you, Tarzan, for showing us what one of the primary changes on Xin Zhao was with the most recent buffs, switches, whatever you want to call them here in his kit. If he stabs you with the second part of the W with the wind becomes lightning, it extends the charge range on his E and makes it that much easier for him to dash over walls, chase people down, and just generally participate in the game without being laughed at as a melee minion.
There we go. And we're going to see a little bit more of that. I like the focus here towards bot lane. Jurassic and i0ki recognize that this wave is stacking. They can get frozen. That's what sucks about this, is that when you're pushing in that wave, but you have 0 control in the river. 2 control wards there for Tyler1, and they were hovering there on the bot side of the map. You just have to give it away.
Okay, 5-3, your overall score here in the game. So only 2 kills separating the squads. But Tyler1 still has that dragon advantage. They still have a 1,500 gold lead. Tyler, despite his questionable death in the top lane, still sitting at 2-1-2. So 4 out of 5 kill participation, making sure he's still participating in those fights. Hyper moving up now, has his support next to him, going after the Rift Herald.
There we go. Good play overall. I mean, once you see what's happening bot lane, just say, okay, i0ki, send him up top lane to guarantee that it's going to be your Rift Herald. And now they have a play to go for. Even with how strong of a start this was for Team Tyler1, they have to respond to the Rift Herald play that Team i0ki has.
And considering we are 10.5 minutes into the game and they just secured it, that means if Team i0ki waits the entire 4-minute timer, they will miss out on plate money. So you don't want to see them let the clock run out on this Rift Herald. If nothing else, if you're at that 3/4 mark and the clock's reading 13:30, just drop the damn thing. Get your 320 gold from the 2 plates and make sure that there's some value being derived there. Speaking of value, he's waiting here in the brush. Jurassic walks up, places the control ward. Value's not afraid. Look at how aggressively he's willing to posture. Even though he doesn't have his teammates next to him just yet, he knows that he'll be able to outplay and stay alive long enough for them to rotate down and turn the fight around if his opponent's engaged.
Yeah, and defending his control wards. Like talking about value, these control wards been there for the entirety of the game, honestly. It feels so long since they've been contested, and the one opportunity they had, value was sitting in there and waiting. That's composure right there from him. And it's constant. I love the pressure that we're seeing here from Team Tyler1 and how they're playing towards their bot side.
Tyler1 back up there in the top on the Scion. Neither teleport available for the top laners, but it's Tarzan coming down here into the bottom lane, looking for a chance to make a move. But remember, there is level 6 for the Rakan, not for Rel. Tarzan's ready to go. Here it is. The quickness is in, and goodbye, i0ki. You want to talk about a support diff? Well, there it is. The difference between 5 and 6. The ulti coming out from Nasty to start it off and get it done.
What a flex. And we're just seeing the Rift Herald response here. I want to see how many plates we get out of this. It should be the full plate. So while we're now taking a breather, let's see that replay of what happened to the bot lane.
Okay.
All right. I mean, simple and clean. It seems like you're in position in the third bush, walking to the second, and it's a great engage here from Nasty alongside Xin. So yeah, you just don't have a chance to breathe.
You're not getting anything done in that situation, man. That is a tough one to be in. Tarzan going down there, the power of the gank with the setup from Rakan. When you have a powerful ganking jungler, it always feels good, but it feels even better when you have that level of setup from your lanes. When you're able to gank for a Scion, for a Galio, for a Rakan. All of these lanes look absolutely wonderful to pay a visit to.
And you were right, by the way, that it is an Eclipse purchase here from Tarzan. So I think he's set up, ready to go. He's got the shield. Want to see what his next item is? He's ready to go.
All right, Eclipse is up. We got the Stride Breaker for the Nocturne. And honestly, mythic items starting to come online across the board here. You've got your Frostfire Gauntlet for the Ornn. Tyler1 did stop off for a little bit of extra laning power with a Dark Seal there, so we'll see him build towards that Bomby Cinder mythic item here too in a moment. Down there in bottom lane, it's Kraken Slayer up and running now. Jurassic just got back to base and bought that, so the AD carry situation's all tied up as well.
He was making a decision between the two because he finished his Gale Force and then realized, no, I'm going to undo that, go straight for Kraken for full damage. It really just comes down to how confident he is in his disengage because he still has his ultimate and flash when they're back up. So if they were to engage on him, he does have options to get out. So he decided that, the Gale Force isn't necessary. Let's go straight for the DPS of Kraken.
Okay, maximum DPS on the table here for both of them. Team Tyler1 still maintaining that gold lead they earned for themselves earlier. Tarzan making his way down to the Dragon Pit here yet again. 25 seconds till the second Drake of the game spawns. You know Team Tyler1's investing in it. You can tell just from their movements. Sweeping out some of the wards, setting down vision of their own. They have Galio down here as well. Bobchin knows how easy it is for him to join in these fights. When Xin Zhao jumps in, Galio jumps in on top of him, it is very difficult to answer.
The tanks are in position. Long range engage from both Scion and the Ornn.
Here it is, Galio ulti coming down. Maybe the heroic entrance, juggle him around. i0ki has no chance. Drudozer tries to rotate over to the fight. Hyper's still standing, trying to maybe contest here in a smite fight for the red buff. Tarzan continues going forward, though. i0ki disengaging, running away. Tyler's here in the fight now as well. Red buff given over to Tarzan. Tyler charges up that Q just to make sure nobody's trying to be cute and walk back towards him. That's another red buff going over to Tarzan. I don't think Hyper's gotten a single red buff so far this game, and they're right back into the pit for the Drake.
This is just the worst feeling ever. It's like you're constantly rebuilding the village, and you just know that a raid is incoming every time you finish.
Oh man!
It's like we just need to relocate.
You gotta just move the town at this point. The red buff is not ever going their way. They just keep showing up with the power of the Xin Zhao plus the Galio combo. Man, Galio is so frightening, and he's so frustrating to play against when you have a champion like Xin, which is normally that diver who goes for the very damage-heavy build, but the consequence is, oh, well, if he extends just a little bit too far, we can punish him and get the kill. Not with Galio coming crashing down like a meteor right over his head, man.
And it just feels weird because like whenever you deal with a composition that is just so tanky, so defensive, how do you get back into the game? If you're Team i0ki, a lot of the times like your entire comp is built around diving with Ornn ulti, Nocturne, Rel, like all of these things with Orianna as well. But if you just are so far behind now, you really are thinking maybe we trade across the map, but you have an Ornn and you're trying to trade gold on the Ornn. It's not going to happen. So it feels bad because it's a slow decline. In terms of gold, it's not that bad, but the trajectory of this game is going in favor of Team Tyler1.
Yeah, Team Tyler always seems to be the ones making the move first. Their opponents have done an all right job keeping up with them, making sure that that doesn't just balloon into this massive 4,000 or 5,000 gold lead, right? But when you look at the compositions, when you look at how this is going to be going forward, again, I've mentioned that how Xin traditionally has those scaling issues, but they got Kai'Sa. They've got a Kai'Sa with a Galio, and Rakan and Sion to let them start the fights when they want to. Having a player of Value's caliber on a scaling AD carry, you're allowed to pick Xin Zhao. Tarzan's been having a great early game on this champion. Let him facilitate the early game so Value can carry the late.
Yeah, it just depends. The longer the fights go, the more I tend to favor, if the gold is even, Team i0ki. Because Xayah's DPS, when she gets rolling, is nothing to scoff at, especially if she's dealing with multiple melee champions. 4 melee champions on the side of Team Tyler1. So you have to be concerned about the DPS in the back half of a fight for Jurassic. And then Drew Dozer's Orianna is scaling up. So we see no sombreros. We just see straight, honest ultimates. This is a good team fight comp from i0ki.
Okay, and their pressure onto the turrets is keeping the gold nice and close. It's 2-0 in terms of the turret count, and Team i0ki has taken down that tier 1 in the bottom lane, as well as tier 1 in mid. And it's always tier 1 in mid that proves to be the biggest problem for teams. It's such a critical point of the map. Teams are so easily able to rotate over and defend it usually, but good use of the Rift Herald earlier made it so Team i0ki was able to take that down first.
All right, we're in position. 2 minutes until the next dragon, and I'm liking the fact that the game is slowed down by Team i0ki because of what what we're saying. But if you're Team Tyler1, I want to see them move towards top side. Rift Herald to play. Top lane turret is an outer turret that you can play for, honestly. Ornn cannot push past the wave or he gets jumped on. That's the only thing I got to put out there. Yeah, he's going to base. He's at least going to sit in the bush.
Yeah, i0ki does not want to allow himself to be vulnerable to this Tarzan gank, especially when, oh look, Nasty and Value are also up here on this half of the map now. Team Tyler1 should grab this Rift Herald without too many difficulties. You can see Hyper's all the way down there on the other side of the map. Nearly level 11 for Hyper. Tarzan already having that upgraded ulti here. Again, another big part of how Xin Zhao is able to jump into the fights and survive. So Tarzan picking up the Rift Herald. We'll see where Team Tyler wants to drop that one. They still need to get their first turret of the game, Raz.
Yeah, it's usually easier to take side lane, especially, post 14 minutes when turrets feel like paper. If you try for mid, you have to be really confident. You have to at least have a really solid fight down first because it's super easy to defend. So, for me, actually, Dragon's coming up in a minute. You can honestly just throw it down mid once your team is ready and just start using that for priority.
Yeah, exactly. Rift Herald doesn't always have to be the end of the story, right? It doesn't have to be the main objective. It's a great distraction fighting for these Drakes in a position, especially like this one, where you're down 0-2 in the Dragon count to begin with. You really don't want to be playing from that 0-3 position in Drakes for the rest of the game.
Yeah, so most teams, especially if they're the ones in the commanding position in the Dragon count, just stay mid, throw the Rift Herald down, get yourself a free mid lane outer turret that has so much value, and let the other team get one mountain dragon. Then it's easier for you to just bounce between bot jungle, top jungle to get vision, just because they just have the outer turret down.
Okay, Jurassic should be able to pick up his red buff. Raz, I believe this might be the first Team i0ki red buff that is not contested by Tarzan and Team Tyler1.
We're celebrating.
that's enough.
It's a holiday
for Team i0ki.
We got some.
Carol here in the mid lane. They've summoned it up. Team Tyler, if they grab this next Drake, they are sitting pretty here as we head towards our 20-minute mark in this game. i0ki's tanking up some damage, but Drew Dozer's now the target. Now Kai ulti, that's an Ornn ulti, my friends. We're going to see them try to walk away out of this one. Hyper's grabbing the kill on the enemy jungler now. They got Tyler here as well. 2 dead on the side of Team Tyler1. Jurassic's getting away, but Value's able to take him out. i0ki and Hyper now working together, looking to remove this Kai'Sa from existence. You can't sell enough KDA records for that one. And Team i0ki gets 5 for 2.
They were walking straight towards Baron. Looked at them, I was like, oh, wait a minute, we lost both of our carries. We're going straight for Dragon. Get themselves their first Dragon of the game. And what a great fight that was. For me, looking at that fight, it was Team Tyler1 throwing everything at the kitchen sink at Drew Dozer, and he just flashes back. But let's just take a look at that in a replay, because overall, I thought Drew Dozer played that out really well, debating a lot of resources and made it easier for his AD carry to play out that game.
All right. Let's take another look. So i0ki initially takes some damage. Tarzan's back there. He gets the Galio ulti too. Drew Dozer disengaged just like you said. And then look at the counterattack, man. i0ki on this rel. We've been singing Nasty's praises for doing better when we're looking at the playmaking in the bottom lane. But here in this team fight, it was i0ki with massive value out of his abilities.
I love the fact that he had the team fight vision to realize, yeah, my Orianna is safe. They're all grouped up trying to kill him. I have that slight window to just look for that engage, and he pulled the trigger.
And now we get to the point where the Xin Zhao pick becomes a little bit more concerned. Because as long as Xin is popping off, chaining together these kills and assists, getting objectives for his team, you're like, okay, yeah, I'm glad we picked Xin. Fits into the comp. It's great. We're going to scale. But then you start losing the mid-game team fights, Raz.
Oh, no.
You start having to wash the sleepies out of your eyes a little bit, and Xin Zhao starts looking like he doesn't have a spear at all, Raz. He's starting to look like he rides around in a little cannon and shows up every other wave. You know what I mean? He's a champion that doesn't feel too champion-like after a while.
At least the cannons and the minions have some real weapons. He's got pillows here.
Oh, no. Well, we got a TP in the top side. We got Nocturne in the top side. Oh, Drew Dozer missed the damn shockwave. But they got the backup. I don't know if it's going to matter. Tyler1's going to be taken low. A little bit more damage comes through, but the Galio counterattack has arrived. Drew Dozer running away down to 200 HP, sidestepping away from Kai'Sa W. And now value is down with the enemy Kai'Sa out of the picture. This has got to be a full-on green light for Team i0ki. Double kill over to Jurassic here on the Xayah. Bobchin's on the run. Galio has nobody else to back up and 1v1. He's not the scariest champion in the world. Nasty's about to learn what it feels like to be on the receiving end of the wombo combo. And back to back, Team i0ki's got the ace.
And they find a way somehow. As I heard this from Jurassic Park, he's their carry. And every time a fight happens and the engage from Team Tyler1 just goes straight down, I love the fact that they protect Jurassic. He's in a front-to-back position, completely well defended. And right now, I think they're the ones looking to take the kill.
I've still got flash, by the way.
They are looking good after these two fights, man. The mid lane fight, they end up getting the Drake. They stop the soul stack. The following fight in the top side there, they try to collapse onto Tyler. Yes, it's a missed shockwave from Drew Dozer. You hate to see those, but they had the bodies there fast enough that it didn't matter. And then when Value is the next one to die in the fight, when he is the number 2 person dead on your team, this is the opposite of what you're talking about with Jurassic, being able to be protected and provide the damage. Value did not have those bodyguards. The Secret Service was missing, and the president, he wasn't having a great time.
Yeah, here's the thing. If you are not defending your AD, and in this case, like, Kai'Sa should be okay on her own, but she did, limited range and all these things, not really able to protect herself in certain situations, like, you have to be confident that your front line is getting the other guys. Drew Dozer, on the back half of that fight, had 3 members on him, and he was able to defend himself for long enough for the rest of his team to pick it up. So right now, from the front and back team fight perspective, Team i0ki are online.
And for Team Tyler1, chat has pointed out, thank you, third commentator, Rakan just hit level 10.
Oh,
he
God.
was level 9. Nasty has fallen pretty far behind the curve of the game. Yes, normally you do expect supports to be lower leveled. It's part of the nature of the role, doing all the roaming, clearing out vision, blah, 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 blah. But when you're that squishy and you're that far behind, it makes it so all of your decisions just have to be perfect. Because if you're even slightly off sync, you run in, you die, goodbye, good night. Nothing else to it. Looking across the items here, we have that Zhonya's Hourglass completed for Bobchin. That could be very important. Steric's Gauge done for Tarzan. He also has a stopwatch in his inventory. So look at these two to be the ones wanting to start fights for Team Tyler1. They're the ones who can go in, drop the aggro with the stasis, and then try to continue the fight afterwards.
It's a near 6k gold advantage now for Team i0ki. It is pretty huge. And also, Orange just upgraded Jurassic's item. So we're in a position where, like, yeah, he is insanely strong, got his sums fully up. The only one without sums now for Team i0ki. No flash there for Hyper, but I think he's completely fine just going in and having full confidence in the rest of his team.
All right, we got 30 seconds till the Drake's alive. It's 2-1 so far in the favor of Tyler1. But Team T1, everybody's just having to run away. Hyper and Tarzan getting into a bit of a scrap here, but nobody's actually going to be killed from that. If you're Team Tyler, if you're down 6,000 gold and your opponents have Baron, you just give this. This is what getting those early Drakes has afforded you. You can give this away and not feel terrible about it. This doesn't matter, and this isn't the right time to team fight.
Yeah, I mean, but 2 mountains set you up, puts you in a pretty damn good position with the Ornn Rel comp. So like, if we get into a position where now Team i0ki are not only winning, but they are stacking a possible quadruple mountain dragon with soul, that's going to be impossible to fight against.
It's so scary right now. Things have just completely slipped away from Team Tyler1. Maybe all that needed to happen was that first loss on their record that Team i0ki gave them, and that put the hole in the armor that everyone else can now focus on. The weak spot has been exposed, and Team Tyler1 is looking awfully mortal right about now, Raz.
Yeah, I was expecting that we would have a dramaless, early start of Twitch Rivals. Team Tyler1 was looking damn good and was looking to have a clean sweep after going up against Team Bacon, but
not no more.
This is the week.
Baby. Remember that the last time we did this, we've already had one other League of Legends Twitch Rivals series tournament multi-week event like this earlier on this year, and Tyler1 did not make it all the way in that one. Tyler1 was not even competing in the finals, and for Tyler, who is, it's his whole thing, is how many Twitch Rivals he's won. He was the guy who popped off harder than everybody else, but it seems like this new age of Twitch Rivals competitors has the sauce to answer.
Yo, update on another game happening. i0ki versus i0ki. A Lull Blender on a second game on the Skarner. They win that first game and make this group even more juicy.
And remember, for Team i0ki, it's do or die. Because of the fact that they only have the 1 win so far going into this last best of 2, they gotta just keep fighting for every win possible for a chance at not finishing last and being able to progress further, qualify for those quarterfinals. Blender's doing it on the Skarner. I love to hear that. Much love to fellow Skarner brother. But back in this game, we still have a very concerning game state for the side of Team Tyler1. The past bunch of fights have not gone their way. Raz, how do they make it happen? They're 5,000 gold down. Things have been taking a turn to their opponents for the past, 10 minutes or so? What's the plan?
The worst thing about this is, you'd either want to look for a pick on someone who's, on mid lane wave a little bit too far out, or on bot lane wave that's a little bit too far out. The Team i0ki is playing really close to their chest and are playing really grouped up right now in mid lane. So that's not happening. I would say, look, be patient. You might be able to give away this next third dragon for the Baron itself, which is why i0ki's recognizing that, and they're taking vision topside, by the way.
Tarzan's moving up there, wants to try to contest the chicken camp a little bit, but Hyper just goes for the smite, makes sure that he can't. Bobchin backing away here, using the Proto Belt defensively to give himself a little bit of extra distance.
Here they come.
Here comes T1! He jumps in, he goes right between the uprights, but a lot of damage under Jurassic, almost able to take him down. Jurassic getting away, Drew Dozer with a kill on to Nasty. T1 still in hot pursuit, Jurassic running away, Tarzan stabs him through the heart, and Team Tyler1 is trying to find their team fight. A double kill over to Drew Dozer, all the effort put into killing Xayah, but she's got 4 more teammates, my friends. Tyler and the squad weren't able to find what they needed. Drew Dozer's still alive, and for the 3rd time, we're gonna call that one an ace for Team i0ki.
It's one of those moments that if you're Tyler1 and you're just the engaging force, you're like, guys, mission accomplished. You look to the back and everything's just on fire. Guys that got rushed.
It's the gift that people always post from community where the dude walks back with the pizzas and he walks through the door and it's on fire and people are slapping stuff with a big wacky waving inflatable arm flailing 2-man or something. Oh my goodness, it's all burning down for Team Tyler1. Team i0ki, they're on the Baron. Nobody's here to stop them. Of course, should be an easy pickup. And that just means this gold lead's going to get more severe, my friends. Already almost 10,000 gold, about 7.5, and it'll go up to almost 9 as they secure that Baron.
There you go. I mean, here's the thing. At least Donald Glover was able to have the full box of pizza to himself. He doesn't have to share that.
There ain't no pizza left for Team Tyler, my friend.
Yeah, they got nothing.
Everything on the map's being taken. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. Team Tyler. We're getting to the point now, Raz, where they're kind of just depending on a screw-up. Because if Team i0ki keeps playing this clean, they keep working together as a team, making sure that they're ready for these fights, they're good to go.
Yeah, this is really hard. It's like when you're trying to find a good move in chess, and literally everything is covered from the side of Team i0ki. It's one of those moments where Team i0ki can just play slow. Ornn is literally given full items to all of his members on his team. He's level 17. That's just easy for him. So from the scaling element, they passed it. The bar has been passed very easily. They're that student that's getting straight A's. The professor is trying to debate whether he should give him an S, if that's even possible in the current curriculum. It's just like there's nothing really Tyler1 could do here.
And look at how powerful these items coming online are. Gargoyle's Stone Plate for Ornn. He ain't dying. Guardian Angel for the Nocturne. Even if he dies, he ain't dying.
Yep.
Zhonya's for Orianna. Not dying. You've got Infinity Edge now, plus the Last Whisper for armor penetration on the Xayah. This team is primed and ready to push for the win here. Tarzan's up there trying to push out the top lane. He's got the Guardian Angel here on the Xin Zhao just for a little bit of extra protection, extra diving capability. But we're at the point of the game now where Xin Zhao he's fallen off. We're 31 minutes into the game. He's 2-4-7. Very solid early start for Tarzan and Team Tyler1, always invading those reds, having control over the jungle. But now it's the team fighting power of Team i0ki that's just been showing up.
This is the moment. Tyler1's going in.
One trying to go for the engage. Nasty's right behind him. Galio's right there too. Jurassic up into the air. Here's the Xayah with a bunch of damage coming down. Jurassic's already out, but so is Value. Team i0ki trying to retreat here as a group. Tyler1 piling in there, trying to make sure they're able to stay on top of these guys, but they don't want to be in there any longer. Drew Dozer's the one dude not in the pile, and he's just throwing attacks and spells at everybody. Hyper goes legendary. Tarzan is not in the picture any longer. Tyler's gone. Bobchin's trying to hobble away. He and Nasty somehow still alive, but call it a 3-1 yet again. It's another team fight for Team i0ki.
Oh, down to the bot lane.
Oh, man. Like, they may not have a minion wave here, bot, but they're looking straight towards the minions in the mid lane.
And Hyper just goes down there to find the two stragglers.
Yeah.
Kills the Galio, chases after the Rakan, tries to stay on top of him here. The Fear Tether will not be able to complete. Hyper's trying to go all the way around. Yes, Rakan will be able to get away. Nocturne shouldn't be able to get this kill now, but all he did was waste the time. That's all he had to do. Rakan can't come back to the base. Rakan can't help Kai'Sa try to defend. So that's 2 inhibitors dropped.
Yeah, they want to look for the win here just because you have Sion and the Xin Zhao coming up in 5 seconds time. So smart decision. But man, how demoralizing is it for Team Tyler1 to literally be on top of them? They got the objective. They fully engaged, but they just don't have the DPS at all to take down the tanks. And Jurassic still survives throughout all of that. Like, it's just insane to look at that and be like, you still can't get the job done there.
Jurassic with the Xayah ultis, keeping himself alive as the health bar drops low. He lets them commit resources to him. They take his health down to 25, 20%. But then he goes into the ulti, and now Team Tyler has overcommitted. Value is in a spot where he then immediately dies. It's not good stuff, but now we got a fight breaking out down here in the mid lane. Hyper backing away. Nobody's dead here just yet. Half damage onto Hyper. Tarzan's at about 1/3. Goes back in and tries to fight, but it ain't happening. Tarzan dead as the rest of the team now tries to file in and make something happen out of it. But there's your control over the fight. There's your CC from i0ki. Goodbye, Tyler1. Goodbye, Bobchin. Goodbye their chances of winning this game. Nasty tries to retreat all the way back with Value. Keep that 80 carry protected. But Ornn is a big tanky boy, and he is having none of this here today. Drew Dozer throwing out the shockwave. Not quite enough damage for the kill on the enemy carry, but they don't even need it except to pad the stats. Team i0ki, I don't even mind that I was wrong in my prediction. They pop off, and they take down Team Tyler1.
Hey, 1 down. Guys, hey, I told you, we win the first one, secure the fact we're out of groups, we win the second one just...
Hyped i0ki is right now, and I am very disappointed in myself for listening to you people and leaving my boy there. I finally predicted against him. He finally wins. I don't know what's happening, but here's the crazy part. If i0ki beats Tyler and Tyler beat Vacant and Vacant beat i0ki, then we're going to serious tiebreakers if that happens. So this is going to be pretty crazy stuff here, and the primary tiebreaker there will be average time of victories. Who wins the fastest, which is pretty crazy. Who can be the most dominant in the 2 games they won, or because it would be 2 wins and 4 losses or something like that.
Tiebreakers. We are not playing tiebreaker games. Just want to make sure that we define that for chat. There are no tiebreaker games. It's all based on how fast you won.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's the Group B matches got started a little bit later than the Group A matches, so they are just now going. Yasuo versus Yamakaze is 20 minutes in. It's 11-28 in favor of Yamakaze. Every time I've checked on Yasuo, the screen's been black and white. Meanwhile, 13 minutes in, 5-3, much slower game here. Stunt versus Simply High. Stunt with a slight edge in that one. We'll be hopping over to that match here to watch what's going on with this Group B action, as those people are pretty crazy stuff. Leona getting a ton of play today. I've seen her in quite a few games, so we'll be heading there in a second. But before we do that, let's check in with the i0ki versus i0ki game to watch the highlights of that match, kind of tie up Group B or Group A.
Okay. Highlight time. Let's see it. We got Blender back on the Skarner. This is what I'm telling you guys. More people need to be playing Skarner. Gamer girl going in, looking for a fight here. Blender's coming around from the side. The Celestial Skarner, the shiniest Skarner skin, and he's ready to go. Cat evolved with the flash over the wall, but it's first blood over to Low Poly, who ends up picking up the money there. There's your slam, your dunk coming out from Volley Bear. i0ki moves forward, just trying to tear them all to pieces. Amelia Cosplay trying to survive underneath the turret, but 1v4, it ain't happening. i0ki walks away from the fight too, and they're feeling pretty good. Now we got a fight between Skarner and Volley Bear. Skarner has control over the Spire, but with backup coming in, he wants to fall back a little bit further. Stun onto the Jinx, stepping onto the Flame Chompers now. i0ki with the flash away from the engage. She will not be able to stay alive, but now where's the counterattack? Viper coming in from the side, but Misty Stumpy taking out the enemy support. As there's Blender with the ulti. There's the turnaround. There's the team fight. There's the shutdown. But it's not quite enough. They still lose 4. Now we're at the part of the game where they're in control. This is the power of the Skarner pull, baby. Just yoink that Jace right on back into the team. Blender and the rest of this squad pushing into the enemy base now. 1 dragon to 3. It don't matter none. There's 7,000 gold ahead. Pushing onto the Nexus turrets. 4 dead players on the enemy team. Kassadin's only level 14. It does not matter. Team i0ki keeps their hopes alive.
Insane. Actually, it's one of those things where you don't know how they got controlled back. But when you're on a team with Blender who's a coach, with Viper who's a straight veteran, insane top laner, on the Vayne, by the way, so they can always just say, okay, if all else fails, just go straight towards top side and look for a 2v2 there. Like, coming back into the game slowly, it seemed like it was, and then having that easy click and point little pull from Skarner.
Just went in and grabs him, pulls him back out. Okay, well, that's how that game went. We'll see if i0ki can make the tiebreakers interesting with another win in Game 2. But meanwhile, let's go over to Group B and check in with some of their action. Simply High versus Stun. I keep calling them Simply High because it's what's written down in front of me. But High here, gonna see if they can kind of bounce back from a rough early game.
Okay, so right now, honestly, Caleb, I think you're bamboozling. It doesn't look too rough. It's 6-4. These guys are winning.
It was a little bit wider a second ago. It's fine.
Okay, so in other words, they were in a rough spot, but they've already bounced back. See, Caleb accidentally got the foresight here, setting us up for success. From that quick look at the tab, it looks like we've got 1 Drake each here for both teams. i0ki there on the enemy squad. We'll see. High's point of view. This is Orianna. If you're not in a team fight, you throw the ball, you clear the wave, you walk back. This is Orianna gameplay.
Depending on the enemy comp, just taking a look at it, it could be difficult going up against the Kiana, just because, like, who's going to be the person that comes in and engages? Probably the Renekton, but more often, like, going to be the Rakan himself, and very squishy. So if they don't have control to begin with, it's going to be hard for them to, like, get control. So pretty easy, looks like, for being able to get the Rift Herald first.
And Sneaky on Tristana, man. You love seeing Sneaky on a hyper carry. After his performance in week number 1, you know that this is a dude who can carry the entirety of the game on his own back. So they're invading, they're setting things up. We're watching Sneaky's point of view right now. Casting from a player point of view is much more difficult because if he jumps out of the fight and only watches his character, I'm just going to make stuff up. But we're going to see if we can make it work. We're going to see if we can make it work. Right now, they're making it work on the tier 2 turret.
Chappie has 4 kills. I don't know what happened this game, but he's huge.
Okay, well, they lose Renekton. They lose Renekton, but that don't matter too much if Sneaky's 4-0-1 on Tristana. Good lord, man.
Oh my god. Like, it's another week. It's another strong performance from Sneaky. So yeah, throwing a Rift Herald towards the top side. This is usually much easier to play towards a winning duo lane. Because even if your top lane is having a rough one, you're just playing to more members on the map with the support advantage that you can always, like, try and get something going. So it makes sense. Is that a Fiddlesticks? What composition am I looking at?
Okay.
It's been so long since I've seen someone that's not Kobe play Fiddlesticks. I swear at any point I can turn on my client at any point in the day, and if Kobe's online, it'll say in-game either TFT or Fiddlesticks. He plays a lot of Fiddlesticks, but I don't know anyone else that really plays a lot of it. Doubtful's 1-0-1 on it here in this game. 6-5. Their opponents can still come back and win a fight here. But man, they got to be able to answer sneaky.
Yeah, they're the only ones.
Fiddlesticks is a really strong scaling jungler, and if you get into a non-punishing jungle matchup and a strong lane, you can go pretty far with it. Like, I remember a few scrims trialing Fiddlesticks before and after the changes. Funny enough. So like it looks like he's actually gotten to a decent position. So you do have to be afraid of his team fighting, especially without like a core frontliner. I know the Renekton's going to be there, but like it's good that they're poking him out. A strong team fight from him and Kiana can just dictate a fight. So just be worried about that a little bit.
It is worth pointing out, Sneaky does have Cleanse instead of Heal in this game, so really respecting the amount of CC that their opponents are able to bring to the table will make it that much harder for Fiddlesticks to just jump out and guarantee the instant kill on Tristana. We will have our dragon spawning here in under a couple of minutes. I did not realize that thing on the screen was a subscriber update. I thought that was some part of the game. I was like, what did I not know from League of Legends? And there's your pick. Goodbye, enemy jungler. Counterattack coming out from Kiana now, but she's stuck in the middle of 5. Double kill for the jungler. Odd Orange is on the board, baby, getting it done. Saber's trying to run away, but the follow-up, the chase, the damage is too real. Sneaky is unstoppable. And Raz, I do believe that we got ourselves a Baron on the menu as of 12 seconds ago.
Yep, that is a Baron Nashor on the cards. And it all really started from Fiddlesticks being a little too trigger happy. He thought he found a play. They kited him back. Easy, jump back on towards him. And great resets. So even if you think you're disengaged from the fight after one person falls, this is the domino effect.
And no way for their opponents to try to strike back and take the Baron away after losing everybody, including the jungler like that. 9-5 game, 5-0-3. The scoreline for Sneaky here goes back to base, picks up the rest of the ingredients there for the Infinity Edge. They're feeling so good about this current state of the game now. On the other side, Team Stunt, you can see that they at least get the Dragon. So a bit of a consolation prize there as their opponents do take the Baron. They have to reset. They're not back out onto the map in time. But still, man, just trading away a Drake for a Baron plus a team fight like that never feels good.
Yeah, it doesn't. And you got to find ways to be creative now. If you at least like to have a lot of playmaking tools, Leona, Ashe, Fiddlesticks, literally the entire composition, save for the Urgot. So look at them. They're in playmaking mode. Get them.
Oh, they're ready to go. Run, Sneaky. Okay, he's gone. He's Tristana. That's the fun thing about being Tristana. You're not only a powerful laner and a powerful pusher and a powerful turret taker and a powerful 1v1 artist, and you can escape and you can initiate and you can reset, but you're also very safe. So turns out when you have everything, you aren't missing much of anything, Raz.
I have a question for you. Did you see that sub that's shown on the screen? How do you say it? Weaver? Like, what's that dragon name?
Dragon. Hold on, we don't have time for dragons right now because Rakan is going in. We have an ally slain from their point of view. They're trying to stay alive here a little bit. Doubtful coming in with the Fiddlesticks ulti, looking for a little bit more DPS, but no, they do not have that ready to go. Quantum's back in there, but cannot find the damage he needs. Double kill over to Sneaky. It is a 1 for 3 here yet again. Another victorious team fight, another victory for Team High. It's almost like these are a bunch of ex-pros, Raz.
Yeah, they are. And it seems like they teleport again. They know that they've got this game. And thank you, third caster chat. It's Wyvern. I don't know how to say that.
That's the word you were trying to say? I had no idea what in the world you were trying to conjure, my friend. Oh, my goodness gracious.
I don't know how to say Wyvern. I think it's like weave with a weave. You got like
somebody get Raz hooked on phonics, please. We got to get this man reading about some dragons or something, because otherwise I'm not going to know what's going on when we're talking about objective fights early on in the game. However, I do know what's going on right now, and Team High is crushing this game.
Yeah, they're looking too damn strong. You don't have an inhib towards topside and mid. You're going to have to be dealing with a hell of a lot of waves of super minions, especially if the game is long enough for a next dragon. Like, you dragons now for a little bit until your inhibitors are up, or is just out of the question.
All right. Stunt and the rest of his squad, they are fighting an uphill battle now, my friends. Despite the fact that the game doesn't look terrible, I mean, I've played plenty of games of League of Legends from a 7 to 13 point of view. The game doesn't feel doomed just based on the kill count, but when you look at the double inhib, when you look at the fact that they got a Baron right after it spawned, when you look at how effective they are in the team fights, Team High is just a force of nature, man.
It's just too good. And at this point, they can just bulldoze through bot lane if they want to play it by the book. And there's not much you can do if you're, opposing them. Like, it's just, as you already said, Tristan is insanely safe. Same with Rakan. And it looks like he's looking for some action.
Goodbye, Fiddlesticks. We will remember you, buddy. As Sneaky's looking for a chance to go right back in. Disengage coming out from Kiana. She tries to get all the way away. Quantum! He can't stay alive. Sneaky is legendary in the League of Legends, and the man is not stopping anytime soon. Just putting the auto attacks and the bombs into the turret. Not quite enough to take it down. The ramp-up damage would have been able to kill him there, so he has to back off just a little bit further. Back onto High's point of view, they're pushing in the enemy base. They don't have Sneaky. They don't even feel like they need him. They're just going to pressure onto the remaining Nexus turret. Meanwhile, Sneaky's saying, nah, we'll just go ahead and do it this way. Brings up the minion wave. Goodbye, inhibitor turret number 3. Let's see if they stick around long enough to take the full inhibitor. I don't think they'll be scared away in time. High continues zoning them out with the ball placement very aggressive here. And yeah, 3-inhib game, Raz. I hope they like the look of their base because Team Stunt is not going anywhere else anytime soon.
This is a sad home invasion. Because ain't no one coming to help you.
Nope. You're just going to have to sit there in the living room and wait for them to take everything in the whole house, man. Goodbye. Oh, Saber barely staying alive. The last auto attack can't kill him off. The Nexus is vulnerable. Quantum's coming in. Sneaky just stands and fights and takes him down. And before the Ignite would have been able to burn Sneaky to death, the Nexus drops instead.
And that is the game over. Sneaky remains the cheat code of Twitch rivals that he is. What is anyone going to do about him? We don't know. Meanwhile, Yasuo does lose to Yamakaze on the other side of things. So, rich are getting richer, poor are getting poorer, and Stunt has the one, or Stunt was going to have to find a way to bounce back against High here in game 2. Is an interesting one here. Yeah, I don't know. How are you feeling about Sneaky here, Raz? Like, what are we supposed to do about this man?
It looks like he's unstoppable. Get him off to Tristana. Force him on a champion like Kai'Sa that he has to go in on. But the problem is he's just playing too damn perfectly in the last 2 weeks. Even his Ezreal performance has been like spectacular. So you gotta fight fire with fire. Clone him.
We'll see if they can there. Also, Roz, do you know what a wyvern is?
As a dragon, right? I mean, I've played Final Fantasy games like that, okay? It's a dragon.
It's a dragon.
Is it Ivern's lost brother?
No, it's a dragon that doesn't have 4 legs. It has just the 2 back legs.
Arms are the wings.
Yeah, or they just don't have them at all. It's one or the other. So like Shyvana is actually technically a wyvern. The more you know. All right, so
dragon. Yeah.
Exactly.
How the hell are you gonna pick things up?
Huh? With your mouth.
Your mouth.
Dragon.
You have teeth.
Cows at the field and stuff.
Okay. We're going to educate Raz on wyverns and dragons. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have game 2 of round 2 of Group B. Stick around. You're watching Twitch Rivals.
And back out, guys.
In the game.
In the game.
Let's go! Let's go!
Let's fucking go, baby! Tyler ain't shit! It's a fucking support gap, baby! Let's go!